anyone that's listening to this and that has an idea, it's those baby steps rather than thinking, how am I going to launch? And it can feel like it's a mammoth task and it's a mountain to climb. It's one of the small steps that you can take. So for us, the first small step was, let's go and contact someone. Can it be done? What does it entail? And once you've got to that bit, you go on to the next step. If it's chunkable sizes, it's so much easier to make headway. Otherwise, it's so easy to be paralyzed just with decision making.
The perfectionism is the biggest kind of, I guess, thing that holds people back. I'll do when it's right, or the timing's not right. It's never going to be right. So give it a shot. You can always change.
What does it take to build a brand from the ground up? Break into the UK's top hotels and restaurants and challenge industry norms along the way. In this episode, we're joined by Bruce and Paramjit Nagra, founders of Crazy Gin, to hear their incredible journey. One fueled by ambition, resilience, and a touch of madness. From an idea sparked over a kitchen table to seeing their gin poured in some of the country's most prestigious venues, Bruce and Paramjit share their lessons they've learned, the challenges they've overcome, and the mindset needed to turn a vision into reality. This conversation is packed with advice for anyone looking to build a business from scratch. So much so that even our production crew member couldn't help but join in the conversation and share his thoughts. For more episodes, blogs, and courses on the subjects raised, visit talkinghospitality.com. And now, over to the show. Join Timothy R. Andrews and me, Joe McDonnell, as we ask Bruce and Paramjit. So, why gin?
Why did you choose gin?
I think it was the best flavour carrier for us with the spices that we wanted to use, and the juniper, it was more of a just blended them all together. I think that was the main reason.
I think because you find in gins being spice, sweet, and different flavors. And then when we looked into it more afterwards, it was about how the juniper just binds flavors together and balances. Whereas it's a bit like when we distill, we got all these amazing flavors in there, but they're very intense and there's no balance. And as soon as you add it to the gin, then you find that it kind of works there. Yeah. It's kind of like that magic thing that just kind of brings it all together.
It's like some food. I'm sorry to interrupt. I was just going to say, because we distill everything individually and blend it together, you've just got that right balance of bringing the harmony and all of those flavors together.
Yeah. So I'm really fascinated by this because obviously like you said, you're in a restaurant. And I can...
Oh, no, we're at home.
You're at home?
We're watching MasterChef. Home. Yeah, so it's obviously a bit more... Then it doesn't sound so bad. I was halfway through a bottle of red wine and you're on Disaronno and Coke.
However you get inspired, all right? I built a recruitment company that way. So that might explain how it ended. I think it ended in a similar way, to be fair. Anyway, so obviously, what were you doing before then? Because this is quite a radical life choice. You suddenly had that magic moment, which happens, and you have to do it. But what were you doing before, and how does that compare to what you're doing now?
Yeah. So
I was a project manager for the Met Police, completely different. I loved eating, I loved drinking, but I had never worked in hospitality. So it's very different. But I feel like with what I'm doing now, there's more purpose, there's more meaning. It's never been just about the gin. I think with us, it's been a lot more. It's been about showcasing the best of our culture and really elevating drinks by bringing something new and exciting.
Myself, I was a building manager for universities and hospitals. Oh, wow. So completely different. Completely different. I mean, the only thing that the synergy was that we like eating and drinking.
So that's really interesting, right? And I think because I think I met you Be Inclusive. Did I meet you Be Inclusive?
You did indeed.
Yes. So Be Inclusive Hospitality. If you don't know, please check out our episode with Lorraine Coates. Link below. And I remember speaking to you, and it was your story, and it was very inspiring. And I'm kind of a lot of our listeners are decision makers or people thinking about running their own business. And I'm quite interested because obviously having your background, Asian background, how that might have impacted trying to get the business off the ground, whether positively or negatively, how people responded to you on that, and what advice you would give to people thinking about actually, I want to give something a go?
I think the big trigger for us was like we had this idea, and it was kind of we want to take you on this journey. Went to sleep drunk. I woke up hungover the next day, and the kind of thing that I tend to do is like I'll jump online, see has somebody actually made this, because if they've made it, I want to buy it. It wasn't a case of I hope no one's made it because it's something I can make and launch. It'd be like we can't be the only ones that thought like this, and there must have been somebody who's kind of done this. So I'm online, couldn't find anybody who'd done it, and I thought, oh, slightly disheartened, thinking, is it because you can't do it?
Yeah.
So then I'm like going further down the rabbit hole, thinking, well, is there a way that it can be done? And then we came across guys who'd done a cream gin.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, hold on, and they distill. And I thought, let's drop them an email. Let's see. Firstly, can it be done? And secondly, what would it cost?
Yeah.
And I think the trigger for that was probably a few years prior to that. My father passed away. He passed away from motor neurons disease. And he was the kind of like a typical Asian dad where he lived to retire. So he'd be like, when I retired, that's when he'd only have a holiday in India to go see his dad and his sister. And then we'd always say, well, there's other parts of the world. And he said, listen, when I retire, I'm going to spend 6 months in India, 6 months in the UK. He basically followed the sun.
Yeah.
But when he came to retiring, within a month, he was diagnosed with MND, passed away within 6 months. And I think the trigger for us was you never know what's around the corner.
Mm.
And I think it's that if only or what if on your final days. And like, we'd rather try, even if it fails, at least you tried it. And if it succeeds, then fantastic. But it was that was the moment that made us feel, well, let's give something a shot.
Yeah.
Let's do this because nobody else has tried it. And I'm sure others will be into it.
Yeah, also, I'm just thinking about anyone that's listening to this and that has an idea. It's those baby steps rather than thinking, how am I going to launch? And it can feel like it's a mammoth task and it's a mountain to climb. It's what are the small steps that you can take? So for us, the first small step was let's go and contact someone. Can it be done? What does it entail? Once you've got to that bit, you go on to the next step. If it's chunkable sizes, it's so much easier to make headway. Otherwise, it's so easy to be paralyzed just with decision making. And then before you know it, a week's gone by, a month's gone by, a year's gone by, and you're still there with your thoughts thinking, I've got this idea. I wonder what it would be like to.
And just add on to that, you can't perfect it.
Yeah.
Like the perfectionism is the biggest kind of, I guess, thing that holds people back. I'll do when it's right, or the timing's not right. It's never going to be right.
Yeah.
Like you're never going to have all the stars align and everything. But it's that, give it a shot. You can always change and tweak. Like nobody ever complains about something getting better. If it goes the other way, yes, you'll get instant feedback. But nobody's going to complain as you keep improving.
Yeah.
So it's like just try small and grow from there.
Because I've heard the expression a while back about how the graveyard is littered with businesses that might have been. It's all about how people just, I'm gonna, when this happens.
Yeah.
And for me, when I set up my own business, there was no other time to do it. And it was a bit like, I've got to do it now. Otherwise, I'll really regret not doing it. And I knew that whole kind of thought process, I'd always be going, what if I'd. So, and it was 20 years of my life, and I, of course, there were bad moments, but if I look back, the things that I know, the people that I've met, the freedom that it gave me, ultimately, when it was doing well, it did, I did well too. And the joys of the wins, just worth doing. I wouldn't take any of that back. And also it's what I've learned from the experience, both positively and negatively, I now use in my life now. Right. And so, like you, I totally think, sometimes you just got to do it. But Joe, you've set up as well your own consultancy now, haven't you? So what was that like for you? Does anything resonate with you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was just about to ask the question. When you look back, you said you started in 16, right?
Yeah, 2016.
When you look back on that journey, like what was the thing for you that you thought was the most difficult, the most insurmountable, that actually was quite easy? Like for me in my company, it was having a team of people around me that I trusted. I thought that was going to be, oh, I have to be at this particular level. I have to be at this level of experience in order to get people in the business who can contribute. And that was dead wrong. Actually, I found that employing people and bringing people in who have got completely different expertise, to me, is the way to grow a great team. Before I'd started my journey in entrepreneurship, I thought that was going to be impossible. I thought I was going to be years and years before I could get good people around me. But actually, it's been the easiest part. And I wondered for you guys, what's been when you looked at this mountain of creating this really unique brand that no one's ever done before. What was it that was easier than you thought it would be?
I guess at the beginning, the part that was probably scariest, yes, you've made a product. And the reason it's called Crazy Gin is because not that we were trying to be clever or we were trying to say that it's going to do something to you that's going to make you crazy, despite what they say about gin. It was that thing of, we had this idea and friends and family were like, what do you know about business? How are you going to launch this? What do you know about drinks? Who are you to think what you can make something? Business people are born. That's the other thing that we heard. And the common word we kept hearing it was a Punjabi word. It said, you must be pagal. And pagal is a Punjabi word for being crazy. And we thought, well, hold on. If you think about this, a lot of the people we know hate their jobs, hate what they do, but they carry on with it. Are they the crazy ones for doing something that they hate every single day? They hate going to work. They hate doing this. Or we the crazy ones trying to do something different? So we embraced the name there. But what did dawn on us was, yeah, we got this product, we got this brand, we got the label, we got this. Great. Who's going to buy it? Where's it going to end up? Like, family say, what, you're going to go in your corner shop? And ironically, there was a corner shop at the end of the road that I was trying to target. We didn't really understand pricing. This was our first ever business. But where we were quite good at the beginning is the people that we found making our product for us, we knew that they had other products. We knew that they sold into other venues like Harvey Nichols. And so even though we didn't push it, I remember one of the first times we had our first ever bottle. So it was only one bottle, liquid for one bottle, a label that went to the inkjet printer. It was Blue Peter style, double sticky taped on. If the bottle got wet, it looks like the eyes are crying. It was just like, it was full kind of like...
Sad gin.
Yes. And I remember getting a call from them saying, oh, we've got this meeting with Harvey Nichols. Should we take your bottle along? I was like, yes.
Yeah.
I was like,
No, I've had to really train myself and really, because I still have that voice at the back of my head that's just like, but it's not perfect. It's going to set a bad impression. What will people think? I have that inner dialogue. So we're very different. So I've had to really, really work at it, because sometimes you just got to give it a go and see and be ready for the opportunity. And when it comes, just go for it if it aligns with you, because our story wouldn't be where we are had Bruce listened to me and said, let us just perfect that label. Let's send it off and get it professionally made. We wouldn't be where we are today.
I think the kind of thought process behind it was, look, even if they don't list it, hopefully we'll get some feedback.
Yeah.
Do they enjoy? And again, it's Harvey Nichols. You're going to respect the level of what they're saying and they kind of how they judge a product from taste to look to will it kind of be right for their customers. And so we could take that feedback and tweak and play around. And the upshot, if they list it, fantastic. Not even on our radar. I maybe don't have to go to the corner shop at the end of the road and try and convince him. And that's kind of, and I think that was the biggest scary part. But because we put ourselves in a position where, look at whoever you're using, is there something within that network that could help you?
It's also aligning ourselves with the right people. It was never, because sometimes we get asked, you made gin, there was a gin bubble, so you jumped on that. And I'm like, we never set out to make a drink. Then it was never set out to make a gin. What we were passionate about was, I want to tell you a story of a British Indian. Chefs do it through food. Our parents do it through food, and they do such an incredible job. But no one's doing it through a drink. And I want to showcase you what those real, authentic flavors are, not what someone is trying to make money out and has dial the flavors down a little bit because they want it to be more accessible to the masses. everyone like people are ready for those flavors. We're not going back to the 1950s and 40s and certain ingredients are being shipped over and people are like, what is this? What do I do with it? Times have changed. We're a global city. People are traveling all across the world. I just want to level up that game when it comes to the spirits.
I'm surprised to hear that someone accused you of riding the gin bubble, because I mean, without naming names, there's quite a lot of gins on the market that don't really have a point of differentiation. And obviously there's some of them with the bigger producers, but there's also some of them that are on a pretty micro scale. And you go to these trade shows and you talk to people and you think, yeah, it's nice, but are you really, does the world really need this? And I think that you don't fall into that category in any way, shape or form. This is a totally different product, right?
I guess it might be a little controversial, but I guess it's that thing of a lot of people, we do get accused a lot of it, like the gin bubbles burst, you just jumped on trends. But the market, like you're right, there's a lot of very similar tasting things on the market. We know there's no real point of differentiation apart from a label and the brand name, but there's a lot of products that are very much the same. And for us, it's a little bit frustrating because when we go to some venues, I think that's what they're looking for, but something cheaper. Because so if they can switch one bottle with another, it's a lot easier for them to kind of put it in a bar. Whereas when you come with something completely different from a flavor profile, it makes them have a lot of questions. Will it fit? How can I replace brand X with Crazy Gin? Because now I have to change cocktail. Now it's extra work. Oh, the price point. Why are you so expensive? On your ingredients, like if I think of a curry, I think of cheap. And I'm thinking, why would you think cheap? Spices are spices. They're not cheap. So I think it's that thing of, I get where you're coming from. And I personally, I thought the same. Why would people not embrace something different? But there still is that thing where people feel a bit safer because I feel like they're a bit scared. Will their customers accept it? Or do I have to do extra work to kind of tweak a cocktail?
I think I look at venues very differently now. There's some that will just want a simple gin and tonic and they're looking for a product that they can just replace with something else and serve it to the customer. But where we have realized where our synergy is with venues, it's the ones that are flavor forward. It's the ones that are thinking about what flavor journey can I take my customer on? Yeah. So when they're sitting at that bar, where am I transporting them to? What's that journey that I'm taking them on? And then it's the same with the food. Sometimes we find in a restaurant, I think it's beginning to change now, and I think it's a very exciting time to be. Chefs are taking you through that journey with the food. But then there's a lot of wine pairings, but now we're getting a lot more cocktail drinkers. And if we're leveling up the food, we want to be leveling up the cocktails. And then there's two ways to do that. You can either have quite a simple, when I say simple spirit, I mean something that's more neutral in flavor. And then the bartender can bring all the flavor, bring all the flair and the techniques and make that beautiful cocktail for the customer. Or the other way of doing it is, let's look at the products that you're using. What journey are they telling and how can you elevate them further?
Because I'm dying to know, how are venues like? Have you got some favorite places that are using Crazy Gin at the moment and what they're doing with it?
So I loved Tamarind has got two amazing cocktails. So we've got, in addition to the lassi gin, we've got a Punjabi chai gin, which is my grandmother's recipe for an Indian cup of tea.
Amazing.
And it really, I'm biased, but every morning our house smells not like the gin, but of those.
This is not with the gin, by the way.
With the gin.
Yeah. I think we're actually going with this one.
I remember grandma. Nice cup of chai gin. Sorry.
So where people, I think this is again breaking the narrative. Sometimes people were like, your lassi gin's not going to work in a martini. It works incredibly well in a martini. It's been fat washed with ghee. So if you pop it in the freezer, you've got those creamy notes. It's texture. So for us, it's aroma, it's taste on the tongue, but texture is also so important. And we think about it with wine, but I don't think we think about it with spirits enough. And then they've made a beautiful chai Negroni with it. So it's about people that can think a little bit different with those flavors. And then I think Tattoo in Birmingham as well, they're really celebrating flavors from Asia, but they've incorporated flavors of both the lassi gin and the chai gin into their cocktails. And then there's nods to the West as well about what flavor influences are coming in. So they're really taking global flavors and creating something unique. But every single cocktail that these places are making are taking the customer on a journey.
And I think what I like about those two venues is the fact that there are some venues that we've been to where they're very well known for the Indian cuisine. They like to talk about how they really push the envelope with Indian flavors, respectful of the culture and everything. But we've gone in and they say it's too Indian. And so we need to dial this back. Your product is too Indian for this Indian restaurant, which is kind of a contradiction because I'm thinking, okay, I wasn't expecting that. But where Tamarind have shown is, no, it gives them an extra level to push flavors forward. We're told it can't work in a Negroni. They've made a chai Negroni. We're told that the lassi can't work in a martini, and there's venues that do them as martinis. It's got all the tick boxes for being smooth and creamy. And then what I like about Tattoo is showing that, yes, it's a Chinese restaurant, but it's spices that cross over, because a lot of spices we use, yes, they're associated heavily with being Indian, but they come across the spice roots. So there were a lot of ingredient spices that are brought to India that weren't naturally from India. But then it's about they're telling their journey being Chinese and how the Indian side all works together. And ultimately, it's flavor. So how does that flavor take people on a journey?
You just, I heard this quote. It's a Punjabi singer, rapper from Canada, and his name's Gaurav Aujla, and he was talking about music, and he was saying, music is music. If you love music, you love music. There shouldn't be any barriers around it. So whether you can understand the language or not, music just transports you. And sometimes we listen to songs, we don't even know what the person's saying it, but you feel it. And I just thought, I love that, because for me, flavor is flavor. There shouldn't be barriers around it. Yes, we're making a British Indian gin, but don't put us in the box that we just belong in a British Indian restaurant. It's flavor, and it's there to be celebrated with cuisines from around the world.
I think that's a good place to end. I mean, that is. Thank you so much for coming. And now, obviously, we're now both thirsty and hungry. All right.
So about that.
Yeah. But will it be good enough now? I mean, I'll be judging the restaurant for sure. Like,
well, it'd be perfect in these mugs as well, like a cup of tea.
Crazy Gin sponsors, talk about hospitality. Yeah, you can ask a question.
Yeah. So I would just summon
our listeners.
Oh, hi. So me being from Nepal, right? So I would say I'm quite familiar with the Indian, spice and culture and everything, right? I like what you said about neutral spirit, because me coming from a front of house hospitality, you knows me. So I absolutely love that idea that you said, okay, you know what? There are a lot of neutral spirit. We are not a neutral spirit. We are something different. Also, what you said about different level, but the same product, which I've seen in my career. I used to work in a place with 115 gin. I'm not going to disclose the name of the place, right? But your idea of telling your story of the roots through the drink, and now how you're doing, because I was looking at the portfolio before the podcast today, and I saw you in some of the renowned hotels as well and renowned venues. Congratulations, firstly.
Thank you. And
good luck, because the chai Negroni that you told me, I might be making it next week.
Please do.
And Tim, I will definitely invite you, right? And look, you've got a long way to go, and good luck, because this is really amazing. Like, I was just listening to you, and me being Asian, living in here for such a long time, and I'm just thinking, like, you know what? You actually touched my soul today by the story that you told me, and I'm going to take a lot from you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I just want to say, do you know what? When I speak to people like you, I feel a bit emotional. That's what it's about. We're here and we belong. And I think we found just a little bit about the bits that, we've had the highs and then the lows, is when people are just telling us you don't belong. That's not going to work. Why is it not going to work? Every single one of us has a right. Just, we all belong. We have purpose. And why not?
I will add a little bit. Like, I've worked, when I was saying about the gin, right? I could open 10 bottles, Tim. 10 of them are the same. It's just a different label, right? I don't want to say anything anywhere, right? But your gin, I have seen the venues and everything, and I've tasted it once. I'm not going to lie to you. Negroni one definitely is going to stick to me. And you being in Tamarind and everything, go longer.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. Thank you.
So just as Paramjit, every voice can shape the future.
Yes.
So cheers.
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 So listen, thank you very much. But if somebody wants to find out where your product is, where would they go?
You can come to our website, just type in Crazy Gin. You can go to Harvey Nichols for
Crazy-
8 years. We've been there.
Crazyco.uk.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yes, crazyco.uk.
Thank you very much. I'm going to keep it.
website too.
It's
Thank you.
amazing,
you.
isn't it? It's really good.
It's really beautiful.
Thank you.
A huge thank you to our brand partners Graphic Kitchen and Leisure Jobs for their continued support of Talking Hospitality. Graphic Kitchen bring creative storytelling to life, helping hospitality brands stand out in a crowded market. Leisure Jobs connects top talent with best opportunities in the industry, making it the go-to platform for hospitality careers. We're proud to have them both on board.